Warning, this podcast contains spoilers and soulless monsters.
Mine's not a monster.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the ASOTV podcast for Supernatural, Season 11, Episode 5. These numbers keep getting larger. The episode's called Thin Lizzie. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me is the lovely Omikins.
Hey.
It's just us this week. Dom and Kim are out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're holding down the fort here. Interesting episode. Another filler-ish episode. But, I don't know, it was the big surprise this season. The filler episodes seem to be advancing the plot.
Yeah.
Quite just fine.
They're completely out of the ordinary filler episodes for Supernatural.
Right, because usually a filler episode is like something completely random, hilarious, stupid shit happens, and then at the end, like the last 30 seconds of the episode, it's like, the Leviathans are like killing people. We gotta, end them.
Yeah.
But, no, it starts off as a filler episode. Halfway through, it turns out, no, it's not filler. Amara is the one fucking everything up in this town. Which is pretty awesome.
Which means Crowley either let her out or she just, said, F you, I'm taking a night out.
I'm going for a walk.
I'm going for a walk and you can't stop me. And Crowley was just like, okay.
Well, she did say she was reading up on Lizzie Borden, so it's possible she just got curious.
Yeah.
Anyway, to the beginning. Sam and Dean decide... Well, anyway, Sam uncovers that there was an axe murder. 2 people died. In the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast Museum. Which apparently turned out to be Lizzie Borden's actual house. Dean thinks it's nothing. But Sam, apparently having an obsession with, psychotic murderers of the type and Lizzie Borden, decides, no, this could totally be a thing. I mean, it's her actual house. Maybe a ghost. Maybe something. So, convinces Dean to take a trip. They leave Castiel to binge watch The Wire on Netflix. I love how that they're explaining his absence from episodes. Yeah, he's watching Netflix.
That's pretty inconsistent for the Winchesters to have an account that is only one account. I mean, it's probably an alias, but they have many different names.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, it's it'd be expensive if they had multiple accounts, so they only have one.
Yeah, but you can watch simultaneously on one account.
I'm not saying that they're having problems sharing. I'm saying that their identity is not spread out over Netflix. It's one account, whereas everything else, they have multiple names for.
Yeah, you're right.
Consistency.
Today they were Agents Gabriel and Collins.
They were, yeah.
So I'm thinking Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, or...
Probably.
I don't know. So they get to the house of Lizzie Borden, and they do their usual spiel. Sam is hiding it well, but you could tell he's giddy as a schoolgirl for this, because he's kind of obsessed.
He's not obsessed, he's just oddly curious, overly curious about things that are hoaxes, and he's pretty dang sure they might be hoaxes.
Oh, Dean is all on the it's a hoax train, but
yeah.
Sam's not convinced because he pulls out the trusty old EMF detector and holy crap, is it through the roof? Which leads Sam on a little hunt, and Dean decides to go exploring too. Anything to get him out of his bedroom, which was doily hell.
Doily hell.
Doily. I hate that word. I'm with you, Dean. Turns out Dean was right. He was vilified because Sam, while investigating the attic, finds a massive EMF generator. Just a series of heat sinks and transformers and fun stuff.
Yeah.
Finds that Dean discovers that the sounds of crying people in the night are just an elaborate speaker system hidden in the walls, and the lights are on timers. Big fat hoax, but people are really getting axe murdered.
Hmm.
Um, and we meet an interesting side character named Len. We first meet him when he takes a picture of Dean takes a picture of the house, and Dean catches him. But Len's an interesting one. He is a Lizzie Borden fan,
Hmm.
like the obsessive kind of fan. What was it Becky who was all up in Sam's shit and almost forced him to marry her?
Yes,
The
that was
supernatural
Becky.
fan. Okay, he seemed like the Becky for Lizzie Borden. This guy, or at least he would have been if he still had his soul and actually gave a shit. Which I kind of feel bad, but it was interesting. He ran across Amara outside Lizzie, the bed and breakfast, and she ate his soul. Which brings us to something really interesting. We got kind of a different soulless character. Because at the beginning of the season, Jenna had her soul eaten and she was just a bitch.
Yeah, she was angry.
She's breaking shit. She killed her grandma. Whole lot of other bad stuff. Len, however, he just disinterested. Doesn't care. All the things that used to make him happy don't. He really has no drive anymore. He sold his whole Lizzie Borden collection. I mean, he ripped his hand out of a handcuff, severing his thumb in the process just to see if he could do it.
Yeah. He said he felt like he needed to help them, and that's why he urged himself to do it too.
He's
So
just going through the emotions because he remembers what it was like to be a good person. He thinks he can fake it.
I
You
wanted to
liked
keep
Len.
him. I wanted to keep him like a puppy.
Is this is the second side character you've said that about this season, isn't it?
Who did I say that about
I
before?
don't know. Didn't you, an episode or two ago you said, "Can we keep him?" Maybe it was a different show.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But no, I really wanted Len to stick around, and I hope we do see him again. They're kind of maybe possibly leading to him getting his soul back somehow,
Hmm.
which would be nice. Maybe Amara will give it back at one point just to show that she's not pure darkness. She is kind of like the balanced figure of good and evil. She just is made out to be the villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really don't have much of a read on Amara right now. She's just doing some innocent little soul snatching.
She's growing. She's hungry.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But we really don't know. All we know is that heaven, hell, everybody's, who knows what the darkness is scared to death of her.
Hmm.
So it's possible she is the bad guy. Um. So, axe murders continue. Axe murders continue to happen. Whole series of people get it. And while investigating the wife of a man who got murdered, they think she had a really, out of the ordinary reaction. It's possible she was soulless because she was just like, get the fuck out of my house. Like,
Possible.
yeah, possible.
But I mean, she's wanting to protect her children because she had a lot of shit going down in her marriage and her life, and she just was uber protective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, uber protective. Turns out the one doing all the killing is Sydney, the babysitter. The whole reason she killed the people in the bed and breakfast, because that was her ex-boyfriend who just dumped her ass. And that's his signature move, apparently, to close the deal, is to make out with a girl at Lizzie Borden's bed and breakfast. So she shows up and axes them both. Okay. The guy was a meth dealer who she murdered in his driveway. The bitchy wife was cheating on him with some guy, like a town over or something. So that's why she murdered them. So all the people she killed, she had a reason for killing.
something about Sydney was like completely different than Len. Len lost all his motivation, his feelings, his gusto. Whereas Sydney had motivation behind her actions. She felt as if she would be the better person for the child to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm thinking that Omar's not exactly taking all of their soul, just the important parts. And whatever's left over is heightened emotions or lack of
Well,
emotions.
I think it's by removing the soul, they're just removing really by their conscience, really. Because look at that,
But in order to have a feeling and motivation, you need a conscience because you have to make decisions.
right. But I also think it's based on each person's background because remember
That's what I'm
Sydney.
saying.
I know, yeah. She lifted her shirt and she showed her back, and it had like burn marks from constant abuse as a child. So, I mean, look at Sam. What happened when Sam lost his soul? He was the most efficient hunter to ever exist. He didn't care about other people's safety. He went hunting with his family, but he never really bonded with any of them. But, you know, he was still Sam. He just was a bit more reckless. And then you got Len. He knows he's a good person. He knows he was. He's is indifferent. He's just doing it for the hell of it. And then you got Sydney, who probably had a really, really shitty upbringing. And as she said, I fantasized 100 times about killing these people. Her soul's gone. There's the mental block stopping it.
I don't know. It just seemed like with Jen at the beginning of the season, it was more of a corruption when she got her soul taken away than, you know, having her back. Because it seemed like she was like her grandma was everything to her, but she chopped her up like nothing.
Yeah, she said, I always wanted to try this.
No, I don't think that's it. I don't think she wanted to stab her grandma in the back for reals. I mean, it just happens to be that she was in the midst of all this trauma and chaos going around, and that's what affected her.
Right.
First and foremost.
Well, that is exactly. I remember the line because that's what Jenna said. She pulled out the kitchen knife. She's like, "I've always wanted to try this," and then she
Yeah.
kills her grandma. But yeah, that did seem more of a corruption. But then again, think about it. That was when we thought the darkness was this all corrupting force, because there was still still the disease or the virus going around that was corrupting people.
That's why I think it's an environmental thing as well. Because, to be honest, I don't think Jen has ever thought of killing her grandma, but because her grandma was very spiritual, religious, and, the darkness is just anti-God, it was more of that kind of factor than it was Jen.
Right. And we still didn't really get an answer on that disease.
No, we didn't. It's probably still spreading.
Either it's still spreading or, I mean, I have a theory. It's possible that it was, like, when the darkness was released, Amara or her previous avatar or whatever released that as a means to make sure that she was born and protected or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
All I want to know is, did Amara actually sneak out? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's very likely.
It's very likely that she snuck out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? To be honest, sneaking out is just not her style. She's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm going. And you're not gonna stop me because I'll eat you. And Crowley's just gonna be like, okay, behave. Bring Daddy home a present.
Bring Daddy a present. Or
Mhm.
bring Uncle Crowley a present.
Yeah, bring Uncle Crowley a present.
Oh, God. So, that's really it for this episode, right? I mean,
Other than the quirky little things that we kind of discussed, like, Dean saying that the room was a doily hell, and,
doily hell.
what was Len saying when he was in the back and they were explaining to him that he lost his soul? And then he's like, no way, that's impossible. And then all of a sudden he's just like, guess it makes sense.
It
And
makes
he just
sense.
deadpan after, like, freaking out for a good 5 minutes.
He's indifferent. He doesn't care.
But he was freaking out.
Well, I just love how Dean, delivered it. He handcuffs him to the baby, and he's like, "You have no soul."
Yeah.
Dean, tact? Like, little, just a bit?
No. I think the only reason why Sam said tact is because he knows what it's like to not have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dane doesn't give a shit. He needs to get his job done, and the guy has no soul. It's obvious he doesn't give a shit about things. So whatever. A little explanation and walk away.
Yeah, very true.
But I was actually worried for Baby at that moment. Baby just got redone. She just got worked up again. And he's hooking this soulless, guy that probably has no limitations, no inhibitions to her freaking handle.
There's definitely a lot of blood smeared. There's a bloody pair of handcuffs stuck to Baby right about now.
What do you say? He picked up his thumb like it was a drop sausage or something
He's
like that.
I picked up yeah, like a little sausage or like a little hot dog or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Hurt like a mother, but
Yeah, it was definitely a fillerish episode because of the humor that they happened to toss your way, but because of Amara, and we actually got a little bit of how her power actually works. I mean, I'm actually really sold on that. She's not taking completely all the souls away because they're human versus the demons who are just a soul.
right,
They're not
demons.
really connected to anything. They're not connected. They're not connected to anything. They're just sitting in a meat suit commanding it.
They're a corrupted soul. I mean, a demon's already dead.
Yeah.
They're
So
human. They died. They went to
that's
hell.
why
Their soul got corrupted, and now that's all they could do is inhabit. Possess meat suits.
yeah, that's like I was saying, that's why I think Omar isn't exactly taking all of the soul, or she can't because a human soul is more connected to the world than a demon is.
I don't know. I mean, we saw how Sam was without his entire soul,
Yeah, but
and
Omar didn't take his soul. Omar didn't
I
touch his
know
soul.
Mara didn't take his soul, but these guys, Len especially, I, they're acting more in line with how Sam acted without a soul. Like Sam wasn't, some evil, killing people, crazy thing. He was still Sam. He just had a couple of negative qualities about him.
Never.
I don't know. It's possible you're right too, because I really have no fucking clue.
Like I also said before, we don't know if Amara is completely evil. Like we don't even know if she's evil at all. Maybe she just thinks she's doing what's best for the world.
She's a force of nature.
Yeah.
Forces of nature aren't exactly good or evil.
No, exactly. So maybe, like I said, what she does is probably not complete.
Mm-hmm.
She's only taking pieces.
Yeah, alrighty. So, let's take a little time here to talk about next episode because it looks like it's going to be a plot episode and not a filler plot episode. I like how filler plot's a thing. Anyway, it's called Our Little World. Castiel seeks out Metatron's help to stop the darkness. Yeah. However, Metatron is pretty happy with his new life as a freelance videographer for the local news and isn't inclined to help the Winchesters or Cass. Alright. Meanwhile, Crowley is losing his hold on Amara.
That we already freaking knew because she's out and about in the world without him by her side. So
It looks interesting. From the promo, we see Cass giving Metatron a solid right hook, to Metatron's surprise. And,
why would he be surprised?
how the announcer says, spoil the rod. I'm sorry, spare the rod, spoil the god. Crowley's like, you're grounded, and shoves her onto a couch. And then the next scene we see is her smashing Crowley over the head with, like, a cast iron pan or something.
She's growing up again, though, too, right?
Yeah, she's grown. She's not
She looks like
12.
she's a teenager.
She looks like she's 15, 16 now.
Yeah.
The rebellious stage.
Oh, wonderful. Well, even when they're like 10, 11, 12, they can be rebellious as well, so. Yeah, hey, drunk girl. Yeah, that was another quirky line from this episode.
Hey, drunk girl.
Yeah.
And she was actually really nice to that girl, which that girl had, Winters in chat mentioned a while ago that girl had a real hard-on for Amara.
Well, I mean, she was full of pain and sorrow and everything, and just by touching Amara's hand, Amara just sucked it all away, and she felt complete reprieve from all her pasts.
And thanks. Good thing this was brought up. Thank you, Winters, because this lends a little more credence to your theory that she's not entirely evil, because she took away this girl's pain and she gave her a nice blissful moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until this girl said, "You're an angel."
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I look like a winged pansy? Or
Yep.
however she put it, and then she sucked out her soul.
Yeah. Made her a little bit angry, and that's when she sucked out the soul. I'm pretty sure if the girl would have said, "Thank you so much. You've helped me," Amara probably would have befriended her and not sucked her soul out.
Mm-hmm. Probably would have been like, cool, and moved on with her night.
Yep.
So yeah, she doesn't seem in... that scene does definitely lend the not entirely evil side of things. All right.
Well, I mean, there was the very end, too, where she's watching over Dean and Sam. She's like, see you, Dean. See you... hi, Dean. I'll see you soon, or something like that.
Yeah. Bye, Dean. See you soon.
Exactly. That was creepy. That was so creepy. But yeah, I mean, she knows that they're looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to evade them, so that's good.
There is that. I mean, she said we're always linked, so she probably has, some kind of Dean radar going on.
A Dean radar. Yeah, I mean, he was the last person to hold the mark, and she's what was being locked behind that, so.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Good season so far.
It's been
far less disappointing than last season.
I mean, we got really hyped up last season because we wanted Dean Mon, and we wanted him for a long time, and that didn't happen. So.
Yeah. I know.
Oh well.
Oh well. Anyway, that's that. That is our show. Thank you everybody for sticking around. Lovely Omikins, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVENOM24.
You can find me on Twitter at Thilladrin, right there. And you can find all of us on Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, MySpace, Google+, and YouTube at ASOTV Podcast. You can follow us there for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Yeah. That's all for tonight if you're watching live. We had to reschedule American Horror Story due to a little snafu, but we're good. So stay tuned for that in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, as always.
Laters.
Bye-bye.